Hello everyone, and today we're going to look at ratios, proportions, and similar figures or similar polygons. The first part of this video we're going to look at ratios and proportions. So a ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. You can write that three different ways. You can write that with the number, the colon symbol, and then the number again. You can use the word 2, so we read this as 2 to 3, 2 to 3, or 2 thirds, which is as the fraction, by division. So a proportion is just saying, and it's an equation that states two ratios are equal. So taking a one ratio and setting it equal to another, or an equivalent ratio. So if we were to solve this, there's a couple ways we can do that. Sometimes when you see these numbers, they are much easier to use if you think of it as, what can I multiply 3 by to get 60? So what I could do is I could write this out in another way. I could say 3 times 20 equals 60. So on the denominator, I could also multiply the denominator by 20. So I would get x equals 100. Now, not all proportions are going to be that simple. Sometimes you can't just say what number multiplied by this numerator or multiplied by this denominator will get the other equivalent ratio. So we have to do something called cross products. Cross products is when you take the numerator of one, multiply it by the denominator of the other, take the denominator, multiply it by the numerator of the other. It's otherwise known as the butterfly method, a little nickname to it. So we would say 3 times x is 3x, and that'll equal 5 times 60, which is 300. So now we can divide by 3 on both sides. X would equal 100. Comes out to the same solution. So let's try two more examples, right? Here's an example where if you were to ask yourself, how would I go from 5 to 6 with multiplication? Well, that's not known right away very easily. So here's where we would have to use this cross product method. So I would put this little circle here, 6 times 4. And here's our 5 times x. So 5 times x equals 6 times 4, you would get 5x equals 24. And when we divide by 5, x equals 4.8. Right? Now, real quickly, we can check our solution by taking this value, 4.8, and we want to substitute it back in for x. So here's how you can check your solution. First, ask yourself, what is 5 divided by 4? Right? 5 divided by 4 is 1.25. So if I had 6 over 4.8, if I take that and I plug that into a calculator, I should also get 1.25, and I know my answer is going to be correct. All right, here's another example. Again, we have our proportions. We're going to do our cross products. But before we do that, I always tell my students one thing, and when it comes to these expressions, you have to remember that this is the entire numerator, y plus 4. So with our cross products, we have to multiply 3 times that entire numerator. So it would be 9y equals 3 times y plus 4. You can't forget that this 3 is being multiplied to everything in the numerator. So often I see 3 times y and then we stop. That's it. There's nothing happening to the 4. But you have to remember that that is affecting everything in the numerator. So I'm going to distribute the 3. This will become 9y equals 3y plus 12. I'm going to subtract 3y to get 6y equals 12. Sorry for the changing color there. Divided by 6 on both sides, y equals 2. So before I say, hey, I'm done, let's just check our answer. If I take the 2 and I substitute it back into this first ratio, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 6 divided by 9, well, that's going to equal 0.6 repeating, or simplified to 2/3. Here, if I put the 2 in, I get 2 over 3, or 2/3, which is again 0.6 repeating. So I know this is a good solution. If you've already downloaded this to Notability, you can click this right here. Obviously, I can't do that myself right now, but you can click it, and there is a link shared on there that will be an additional helpful video for ratios and proportions.